Question: what's the best thing about being a YouTuber? It's that glorious time where you've decided you're going to do a YouTube channel, dreaming of all of the riches, and using that to justify a high-tech shopping spree. I mean, any serious YouTuber needs high-tech equipment to support great videos, right? Oh, I wish good videos were just throwing money at it. That would be a lot easier than developing skill. The good news, if disappointing, is that you probably don't have to buy anything to get started. Now, as per usual, this episode is going to be split into two sections. The first is the bare bones of what you need to get started. And the second is an introduction to some equipment that you can level up to. Now, you may ask, why not start off with the really good equipment first? And the answer is that better equipment doesn't necessarily make the important things better. They are just tools that a better videographer can use to make things better. The key is that you need to build up your skills to the point where you can take advantage of what high-tech equipment can offer you. Until then, it's just a waste of money. I mean, don't get me wrong, high-tech equipment is great and it will enhance your experience, but my job here is to get your first 8 videos published. Once you accomplish that, we can spend all sorts of money on this new pastime of yours. But before that, it's just spending money. And save that money for when you're going to buy the right stuff for what you're producing. You'll need different equipment for different types of production, and you need to have enough experience to know what types of equipment you will need. So we're going to start off with the basics. Basics, there's 3 main things to take into consideration: camera, microphone, lighting. And we'll do editing software in the next episode. And I'm going to have a shopping list for everything I talk about in the description, just for ease of finding everything. So let's start at the beginning. Obvious, camera. And honestly, smartphone cameras today are perfect for YouTube, and they create a high quality video. So you really don't have to think about a camera at all. You probably have one in your pocket. In fact, I've done hundreds upon hundreds of my videos with this thing, and it's worked great. Now, whether you use your smartphone or you get another camera, you do have to use the right settings. At this point in time, you want to use the resolution that's called 1080p. And what that means is the resolution of 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. That's 1920 across, 1080 vertically. There is also FPS, which means frames per second. That's how many frames per second, and you want to go with 30 frames per second. Now, these are the standard settings for a video right now. YouTube is always wanting high resolution, and you'll hear things like 4K, which is 4 times the resolution. While that would be great, and you can do a lot with 4K, it's really cool, it just eats up your battery and your processing time immensely. And there is indication that YouTube does favor higher quality video, but the price to get that video is high. You can do 4K if you want to, but right now, 1080p is all you need to start. Now, say you want to have a camera that's dedicated to this so you're not using your smartphone. Now, there are reasons. I mean, it does get annoying when a call comes in. Oh, I forgot to put it in airplane mode and all that kind of stuff. And so the camera that I would suggest, this is a Sony ZV-1. It's specifically made for vloggers, and it has this very cool feature of a screen that turns out so you can actually see yourself when you're filming. This is a critical aspect for me, and every camera that I own for YouTube purposes has this fully articulated screen. The Sony ZV-1 is a staple in the YouTube world, and so it's really easy to recommend this. Now, this one has a cage on front of it, so you're not going to get that. Now, one of the advantages of this is it's not an interchangeable lens, so it's cheaper. But if you want something that has a little bit more function, they do have an upgrade, ZV-10. And so you can go anywhere beyond this you want to. The bottom line is, start with your smartphone video, set it to 1080p and 30 frames per second. Or purchase a camera like the ZV-1 with a fully articulated view screen. Of course, this is only if you're doing talking head videos. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. The second huge thing is a microphone. Yes, I know we think about visual when we talk about YouTube, but the truth is that it's the audio that really makes the video. People will watch a video that isn't totally cinematic, maybe a little out of focus, as long as the audio is good. If the audio is bad, there is nothing that you can do to save a video where the audio is bad. Now, if you're doing talking head videos, it's very easy to find a lapel mic that will hook into your smartphone. And here I've got these little guys. So in this example, I have this thing that plugs into my phone. And then this is a transmitter that simply clicks on here. And now I've got great audio that goes to my phone. You can get a simple lapel mic for like $40. This is a higher end Bluetooth, but if you can't afford a couple of $100, get the $40 one. It will make all the difference in the world. It's a worthwhile investment. Okay, this is what a lapel mic looks like. This is a wired. This can go into one of those Bluetooth transmitters. Look at this and say, wow, what's that? This little fuzzy thing. This is a windscreen. It's amazing how magic these things are. There can be wind, and if you have these windscreens on, there can be wind howling around you, and the microphone won't pick it up. In fact, for this series, I actually did a segment outdoors while the wind was going and talking about how when you're outside, you're going to get the winds, and so you got to work with the natural conditions. When I came back to my office and I took a look at all the footage, you couldn't hear any of the wind. All because I had this fuzzy thing on. So definitely get a windscreen for your microphone. Now, one thing that will ruin a shot is if your camera is bouncing all over the place like you're holding it with your hand. Get a tripod. Tripods are cheap, easy to find, and they'll keep the camera steady. You can go to a gimbal, but that's going to be a step up that I'm going to talk about after the halftime. Lighting is very important. It's also very complicated. It's a skill that I am still working on. But this is why you have those ring lights that go with cameras. Me, I have self-standing lights so I can move those around. But whether you're indoors or outdoors, make sure you have enough light that you can see what's going on. Now, many cameras will do adjustment and will actually look pretty good in low light conditions. But that is what you have the screen for, to take a look and see what it looks like. Now, that's all the equipment. Something that also is important is music. So where do people all get this music? Well, we go to companies where that's their job, is to provide music. And usually it is like $10 a month and you can use their entire library as long as you're a member. You do not own this music, and once you stop being a member, you cannot use that music anymore. Now, anything that you created when you were a member, that's still okay. The important thing about having one of these companies to work with you is that you will be able to be whitelisted. What's whitelisted? YouTube is notorious for allowing people to claim copyright on you. And this is so people don't steal music or other kind of content, which is a great idea, except if there's a mistake, there isn't a whole lot you can do. The copyright system requires you to give your defense, and if the person who's doing the copyright claim doesn't respond to you, well, then YouTube gives it to them. And this means that you can lose your monetization or you can have your channel taken down. So you want to avoid the whole copyright situation altogether. If you use music from these companies and you are a paid member, then you put your channel into their system. And if any copyright claims come down the line, they will automatically clear you. Now, I've had problems before where some artists put their music in a lot of different places and they change just a little bit. And I've had the situation where YouTube did a copyright claim on me for the artist. So even though I explained this was a similar song by the same artist, but not the same song, YouTube required that the artist respond to me and say, no, go ahead, release him from this claim. They're not going to do that. Why in the world would they stand up for me? I bought this from a company that bought it from the artist. And so that was a real messed up situation. I essentially took the video down, changed out the music. I've never used that music again, but it's difficult once you get into that system. I have a couple of services that I used and I've put them into the description. And YouTube is now coming out with a service like this where you can purchase music for your videos. Each one of the soundtracks has a different licensing agreement, but this is a system that YouTube is starting to work with. And so you can find free and paid music through YouTube that you can use on your videos. often if you hear music that you like on a video, and the YouTuber may put where they got their sound from. And then you can go check them out. Usually these services have like tens of thousands of tracks for you to choose from. And if you're regularly using music as an element of your videos, $10 a month is a reasonable investment. All right, it is time to check in with Yvette as to her progress in making her second YouTube video. When we come back, I'm going to talk about the tech that you can level up to once you get your feet wet. All right, Yvette, you've got your first video out, and we are now well into the second week, and you've got your next video coming out this Saturday, if I remember. So what is your strategy for blocking out the video and creating the video?
Okay, I decided on 3 points. I'm going to create a script, and what I'm going to do, it's going to be more of a talking head.
Okay.
I'll be
So
sitting
like
there.
this?
Yes, just like this. I'm going to be sitting here talking to you, whether I read the script, whatever, however I do it, doing the talking head. And then what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to layer the B-roll that I need over the talking script or the talking head, if that makes sense. So,
okay, so you're going to write out a script, whether you do writing it out or just doing outline.
yeah, outline to be determined.
All right.
Which is good because then I think I feel more comfortable doing, fly by the seat of my pants kind of thing.
Either one takes different skills. So it's like you just got to figure out what you are good at.
Yeah.
I know I'm good at scripting, but I can't read it. I have to just outline it if I'm going to be talking to the camera.
Well, I'm learning from my first one where I practically read from the script and I can tell, that's not really me, even though I wrote it, what have you. It's just different. It's not.
All right, I think it's awesome that you're trying something different. That's awesome.
So okay. You were going to say something.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you've got the talking head, and then you are going to put B-roll over it where it's appropriate to support what you're saying. I think it's a perfect approach.
I like it. I think that's going to work for a while.
Okay.
Maybe. But I'm feeling comfortable with that. And so I hope everybody loves it.
All right, we'll see. And maybe we can get a shot of you in the process of making it. I'll get her to commit on camera. That's why
Well,
all right.
To be determined.
We'll see how it goes. All right, then we'll execute it and keep you apprised as to how it goes.
All right, thanks.
Ready to go? All right.
Bye.
See ya. All right, folks, welcome back. Now, I said a lot about not worrying about getting expensive cameras in the first half of this. And I'd like to show you what the difference is. And so right now, as we're speaking, I have 3 cameras that are recording me. One is my iPhone. The other is a ZV-1, the Sony ZV-1, and the other is a high-end Sony Alpha 6700. Now, as I show all these different screens, you will be able to notice a difference between them. Number one, they have a different angle, and they do look a little bit different. The key, though, is not to pick out which one is best, but would any of them not do a good job? And what you're going to find is when I switch between these 3, you'll realize, wow, you really don't need an expensive camera. Now, just to show you what kind of internal microphone each one of these cameras have, I am going to turn off my official microphone. See, I use this podcasting microphone for my audio, so it's clean, but I'm going to go turn that off, but I'm going to use the audio coming from the camera. So let's start with this one right here. This is my iPhone. And so this is what's in everybody's pocket. This is what I've used for hundreds upon hundreds of videos on my channels. And it's come out great. I usually use an external lapel microphone, but for right now, you are hearing the audio that is coming straight off of the camera itself. And it's sitting on my desk with a little tripod. Okay, next we have the Sony ZV-1. And this is about a $500 to $600 camera, depending upon where you get it. And this is the staple for standalone cameras for vloggers, for doing talking head videos like this. And I know full-time YouTubers that this is the exclusive camera that they use. And you can just use it for your entire YouTube career. And here is my Sony Alpha 6700. Now this is a $1,500 to $2,000 camera, and price fluctuates depending upon what new models are coming out and such. I do like this camera. It's an excellent camera. It's an interchangeable lens camera. And the reason why I bothered going up and spending that kind of money is because I also need to take still pictures for other parts of my content creation. And so going to Madagascar, having an interchangeable lens camera was important. Now, please take it seriously when I say don't get expensive equipment until you know exactly what you need. That's the reason why you wait until you know what you're doing before you spend a couple $1,000s. Case in point, this Sony Alpha 6700, I spent months researching before I went for this particular model. And the reason is because I know I want to be able to do the vlogging like we're doing right now. So I need that fully articulated viewing screen. So when I'm looking at the camera, I can see what the camera is seeing. I can see myself so I know what I am filming. But if you've ever tried to take a picture in the middle of Madagascar with that sun beating down, you know you can't see the LCD screen to be able to see what you're going to take in a picture of. And so I needed an interchangeable lens camera that had a fully articulated LCD viewing screen as well as a viewfinder so I could put my eye to it. And you would be surprised at how few cameras have those two features. And if at the beginning I just went and I bought an expensive camera, chances are I would get a camera that did not have one of those two features. And by the way, I did take this Sony ZV-1 to Madagascar. It does not have a viewfinder. It has the LCD screen in back. It was great for vlogging, but when I was trying to take pictures during the Madagascar noonday, I had no idea if the camera was focused, what it was focusing on, because I couldn't see any of the screen. And of course, my good old iPhone has been with me all around the world and has been a trusty video recorder. The nice thing about the iPhone is it is so convenient. And so, there you go. A combination of the three choices that I have used and used very successfully. Now, I'd like to introduce you to this new piece of equipment. This is a gimbal, which means that it's going to, even though my hand goes up and down, the camera here is going to stay steady. You can get gimbals for all of the cameras. You can get gimbals for your iPhone, Android. One of the things I like about this is I have a little screen here. See here, this is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. There is a camera here that can record in 1080p or even 4K. And to set it up, I simply just open this up and I'm ready to go. It is so convenient. Now, I got a bundle that included these wireless DJI mics. And so all I have to do is turn this on and it's already automatically connected. I'll put it on, hit record, I'm ready to go. And so being on the move, if you're going to shows, if you're going out and you need to be able to record quickly, do the interview quickly, something like this has become an invaluable tool for me. And of course, we need our windscreen protection. So it works very well. And in fact, any of the outdoor recordings that you've seen for this series have been done on this gimbal, this Osmo Pocket 3, and these wireless DJI transmitters. So if you see any scenes that are in a park in the background, that's what this does. Anything that's been inside has been on my Sony Alpha 6700, along with a podcaster mic, and this is a simple Samsung. There's a number of simple USB microphones that I'll link to down in the description. They're inexpensive and they work wonderfully. So now I hope you feel good about just using your smartphone to begin with, and then you can level up to the camera when it is time. So go, have fun, and I'll see you next time.